When Australians are kidnapped abroad, the government has a strict no ransom policy. But the recent case of journalist Nigel Brennan is set to rewrite the manual on how hostage situations are handled. The Brennan family is highly critical of police and foreign affairs officials for prolonging his detention. And now they're leading a push for families to be given more options, even if it means going it alone. Hayden Cooper reports.
Please help me.
I ask that our governments help us.
Hamill, Thomas. It's the nightmare scenario for anyone travelling or working abroad.
I love my children.
Falling foul of the authorities, falling victim to criminals, and leaving family at home powerless.
My name's Nigel Brennan. I'm a photojournalist from Australia. We've been captured by the Mujahideen.
Please make him welcome.
For Nigel Brennan, 2 years have now passed since his horrifying ordeal at the hands of Somali criminals.
Never thought that I would get myself kidnapped. Had always thought myself as a very lucky person and had always landed on my feet.
His captivity in the war-torn country stretched to 462 days, more than a year of trauma from which he's still recovering.
I did a lot of work with the psychologist the first 18 months when I came home, and look, I'm just happy to be home and with my family and friends and living life. You know, every day's a great day, I guess, waking up. And then you have your hotspots at the moment, like...
These days he's teaching others how to better prepare themselves for work in dangerous environments. But should his case have taken so long to solve? And did the government help or hinder? They're the sort of questions a Senate inquiry is now confronting.
Of the response to Nigel Brennan's kidnapping.
What I hope to see out of the Senate committee is that the government be a little bit more open and honest in what they can actually achieve, and then give a family, I guess, alternatives instead of just going with the government.
I really wish that the Australian government would start to listen to us and say, well, hey, these people do have an inkling of what's going on.
Kay Danes and her husband Kerry know what it's like to be locked up in a foreign country. They spent almost a year in jail in Laos on corruption charges for which they were later pardoned. Now working with the Foreign Prisoner Support Service, it's not just hostage cases that she's concerned with. She wants the government to engage organisations like hers for help when Australians are in trouble overseas.
And that's what we've been doing for about 10 years now, is we're advising the families, we're connecting the families to various professionals and experts.
In Nigel Brennan's case, the Foreign Affairs Department and the Federal Police attract serious criticism. For 11 months, they were negotiating directly with the Somali kidnappers, but for no result. The final straw for the family came when their home phone was moved to Canberra, so police could monitor and receive all calls from the kidnappers 24 hours a day.
Received yesterday at 8:35 p.m.
But it didn't happen. 2 desperate phone calls for help went unanswered.
Hello, Mum and Dad, it's Nige. If you're home, I really need you to pick up. If you're not, can you please ring back? It's urgent. There is absolutely no food and water here anymore. You guys have to do something. If you want to see me again, you please have to do something.
In the second missed call, he appeals to his sister Nicole.
Hey Nick, it's Nige. This is getting to crunch time. They're telling me pretty much this is getting to the point where it's at the end. We've got no clean water. They're running out of food. They're saying that they want the money. Mike's causing problems, apparently, in Nairobi. This is all I know, but if you can call back, please call back. Okay.
Look, I guess when someone's waving a pistol at you, telling you that this is your last chance and they may execute you within days, to hear that phone go through to Mum and Dad's answering machine, you know, the first thought was now's not a good time to be out of the house, guys. And yeah, I guess dumbfounded as to what was going on. So to come home and to actually work out why those phone calls were missed was I guess, pretty gutting.
Fearing that police and foreign affairs negotiators were only boosting the hostage takers' hopes of a large ransom, the Brennan family went their own way, hiring a private kidnap and ransom company. The government advised against it, and from that point on, cooperation was limited.
I know that it was said at one stage to my family that basically these guys were mercenaries and cowboys, and that if they decided to go with a private company, then they would be putting my life at risk.
On the contrary, within 4 months, their son was home.
So this is from the Wilson case?
Yeah. Alistair Gaisford is a former diplomat who's had a major falling out with the Foreign Affairs establishment. He sees parallels with one of the most tragic hostage cases in recent memory.
Nothing that was needed to be done really has been done by DFAT.
I understand we don't leave unless the bombing stops.
He was posted to Cambodia when tourist David Wilson was captured and murdered by the Khmer Rouge in 1994. Then and now, he says, the government doesn't do enough to direct families towards the help they need, such as transferring privately raised ransom payments.
The government has to accept the responsibility to help families to do what they need to do to get their children back safely.
The Brennan case is guiding steps towards change. The former ambassador John McCarthy's review will make certain of that. While the no ransom policy remains, the department is softening its stance towards the private sector. It's now promising to give families more options at the outset, even a list of companies that deal in this delicate and dangerous business.
Because it will happen to another Australian citizen and another Australian family. So for them, I don't want them to have to go through the anguish and trauma that I guess my family went through of 462 days. If it can be wrapped up quicker and a payment be made sooner, then it's a lot less stressful on everyone.
And the Foreign Affairs Department maintains it provided a high level of consular support to the Brennan family for the entirety of their case. Hayden Cooper with that report.